Welcome back to another Celtics Roundtable edition on the Boston Celtics newsfeed. I'm Jon Ignal alongside Zaire and my brother Jonathan. Welcome inside, everyone. We're going to talk a little bit more about what the Celtics can do to win this must-win game against the Bulls on Tuesday at 8 p.m. in Boston. We saw a couple changes from the Bulls, trapping Isaiah a little bit, running a lot of screens for, Butler jumpers, and just trying to get Isaiah involved there. So we'll talk a little bit about some things that the Celtics can do and discuss our outlook for the rest of the series. So, yeah, let's get right into it. I mean, what is going to be the key for the Celtics to win Game 2 of the series? Because, as we know, it's like a 94% chance that if the team's up 2-0 in a playoff series that they're going to go on to win. The Celtics... this is a must-win game, right?
Backs against the wall, it's a must-win game.
Yeah, I just expect them to execute a lot better. I expect them to, because I think the most important thing for this team is to kind of ignore the noise. You lost the game one. Okay, so what? No big deal. The deal is that you have to continue to do what you do well. And if they can do that, they'll be fine. I don't think they have to, be super hype. This is not that kind of team. This team is a team that's built on executing and doing well. Once again, doing the things they do well often. Yes, I think that the tragedy, it affected them in a way. It has to affect you. And sometimes it's going to lead to a loss. I think it did affect them. I think it affected. Isaiah Thomas is the star on this team. And you're going to, I felt it when I read it. I was like, whoa, and we just talked about Charlie Murphy's death the other day, but just being attached to this team and looking at it for what it is, it's like, oh man, that was a dagger right there. So I'm sure it affected the guys that's with him every day. And I'm sure they wanted to do more and some of them failed, but they got to get over it. You know what I'm saying? And I think they're going to get over it. I think that this team has been in situations where they've underwhelmed and they've bounced back often. So I don't think it's any reason to panic. And, I think they'll do fine. It's basketball. They'll be okay.
You guys talked about tuning out the noise. It's not like the noise starts after the Game 1 defeat. People have been talking. The Celtics were cognizant of the fact that people were calling them a fake 1 seed. And especially when the Celtics know that there's a lot of different directions this team can go past this season. Matt, you've said all year that if the Celtics get bounced on the first round, and correct me if I'm wrong, but you're all for blowing it up and starting over because they have so many assets.
I wouldn't say I'd go that far. I think that GM decisions are informed by playoff success, and the Celtics team, we're getting a little bit ahead of ourselves here. The Celtics could very well come back and win this in 5 games. Yeah, I think we're hearing a lot of stuff. You're saying, Danny Ainge should have pulled the trigger for a rebounder or something, or a rebounder defender at the trade deadline. And maybe they're right. Maybe he should have. I just think that we can't overreact.
This isn't one game. The Celtics have been out rebounded all year long. We talked about not giving up assets. We saw Taj Gibson at the deadline get traded for Dougie McBuckets, who reminds me of R.J. Hunter.
We don't know that what was actually on the table for the Celtics. The price that other teams paid to get their guys, that may have not been the same price for the Celtics. We just frankly don't know.
Or even
I'm just saying one game for hot takes. It's a little early.
Yeah, I understand that, and it definitely is early. But these issues are not new. These issues have been themes that have been going on all year, just have come to light a little more. Sure. They're a little more prominent now that it's playoff time.
Well, I agree with you. I fully expect, though, that the Celtics will trim that rebounding margin in Game 2. They very rarely put back-to-back duds together, and they have been a better rebounding team since the All-Star break. I think that's been a very clear switch. And I think they've actually had a better rebounding rate than the Bulls since the All-Star break. But 17 more rebounds for the Bulls. I would be shocked if something like that happens in Game 2. I fully expect everybody to make a stronger effort on the glass. And if they don't show up in Game 2, then I think that would be pretty bad and a pretty damning indictment of this team. What sort of tactical changes do you guys see the Celtics potentially making?
That's a good question. I don't know how much change they need to make other than, Yeah, go after a few more rebounds, box out. Like boxing out to me is
that's
like
not tactical. That's
yeah. I'm just saying, like that's to me it's that simple. Like it's not. They don't need to build a rocket. They just need to do the simple things and be good at what they normally do. That's it. Like they didn't hit shots. They didn't box out. They got out hustled. That's what happened. And that's why I feel good, because it's not like they were overwhelmed. It's not like they're going against Kevin Love, LeBron James, Magic Johnson. No, it's the Chicago Bulls, and they had a miracle performance once again from a guy off the bench.
You could flip it the other way and say that the Bulls shot the ball poorly. I mean, they got a lot of open shots. I don't think the Celtics defense was exactly on fire in that first quarter.
The Bulls always shoot the ball poorly. The Bulls aren't a good shooting team. The Bulls are not good. Everybody knows it about the Bulls. They can't hit shots. Like when they shoot the ball from three, I'm never nervous. Like Purvis, but I'm never nervous. I'm never worried when they shoot jumpers. I'm like, great, thank you, keep shooting those jumpers.
Jonathan, do you have any sort of tactical adjustments that you would like to relay to Brad Stevens?
Yeah, I'm going to call up Brad later tonight, and the two things I'm going to tell him is, first one, when they stagger the lineup for the second quarter or when the bench unit is on and Al Horford's the big man on that bench unit, he's got to be the focal point of the offense. The rest of the bench unit, who can't create their own shot, Al Horford's got to be the guy. I mean, he's getting guarded by Paul Zipser, Felicio, Bobby Portis, Robin Lopez, who can't stay with him. Al Horford's going to need to be even more aggressive because we've seen it time and time again. This bench unit cannot produce points when Isaiah Thomas goes off the floor. That's a thing. And also just getting Mr. Hesitant, Kelly Olynyk, getting him some easy looks under the rim is a way for him to build some confidence. He's very good at finishing his little reverse layups and stuff like that. So I think the dude just needs to see the ball go in the hoop, and his confidence will build after that.
Because the Bulls pack the paint and have that conservative style, I feel like it's very difficult to get those sort of open looks inside. It's more likely that the Celtics are going to continue to get open looks from the outside. For me, I'd like to see Smart on Jimmy Butler. I think he can fight through those screens just about as well as Avery Bradley if they're going to keep running, some action to try and just get Isaiah Thomas involved on defense in that fourth quarter. I think Bradley on Wade, Smart on Butler. I'd probably go with that. Maybe do even like a little bit of like a soft trap on Butler and say, okay, get the ball out of his hands, make Jerry and Grant or Rajon Rondo beat you.
But I really want to see on that second unit, Marcus Smart get into the block a little more, and he's super effective in that post-up game, whether he's being guarded. I want to see him show his strength and take a guy like tough. Jerry and Grant.
It's tough against that team. Like they packed the paint, and they just were, their rim protection was so good.
But when Marcus Smart gets down there and you put a big on top, that big is uncomfortable playing with that much space and trying to guard the shooter while also protecting the rim. That opens up everything. Yeah,
kick it out. I prefer Marcus Smart to pass it.
Sure, if he wants to be a facilitator from the post, that's fine. But he needs to plant his butt in the post. And whether he wants to take Jerry and Grant to the rim, that's fine. But that's where this Al Horford and Marcus Smart are going to need to carry this bench unit.
If I'm the Bulls, though, I'm going to sag off of Marcus Smart, allow him, I'm open. And he falls for it every time. So, that's a weakness of the Celtics. I think it's like, okay, figure out how to allow Marcus Smart to be a facilitator while being wide open. Because he's going to be open. He's going to be open. If I'm coaching against Marcus Smart, I'm going to let him think he has about 5 feet of space every possession. Because he's going to take the shot. And he's going to think he's going to make it. And he's never going to make it.
All right, the playoffs are here, and if you want to get tickets to Celtics playoff games, be sure to download the SeatGeek ticketing app, which is the easiest way to buy and sell tickets to Celtics games. With just 2 taps, using SeatGeek's seamless mobile experience, in mere seconds you can buy and sell tickets. And it doesn't end with the Celtics or any other NBA game. SeatGeek also has plenty of concert, comedy, and theater tickets available too, and it's all fully guaranteed. Listeners to CLNS Radio can support this production and get a $20 rebate off their first SeatGeek purchase. Here's how. Download the free SeatGeek app, go to the settings tab and click add a promo code, and then you enter the promo code CELTSNews, all one word, and SeatGeek will send you $20 after you've made your first ticket purchase. Download the free SeatGeek app and enter the promo code CELTSNews today. How about going smaller or going bigger against these Bulls? If the Celtics go smaller and put out more skilled lineups, actually some of their most skilled guys are their bigs.
Well, a little thing, like in the course of the game, if let's say Bobby Portis or Mirotic is heating up, I would love to see Marcus Smart on one of those two guys. He has the strength to compete with them down low. and you're not putting – Marcus Smart will close out on you, and you can't dribble by him. Going small and throwing Marcus on one of those two I think would be a nice strategy.
So we're on a Bobby Portis watch, y'all. Like, Bobby Portis cannot do this to us again. He can't do it. Like, if Bobby Portis is putting up 20 a game, we in trouble.
Yeah, I really like going small and throwing Jalen on him or Marcus. Marcus had he's great with Porzingis and even Millsap. He plays really well. He plays these big guys well.
I think I do see the Celtics lineups going more towards the real two-way players.
It was game 3. It was game 3 last year, I think, when
switchable stuff.
It was game 3 last year, I think, when Brad decided to go Jonas over. Yeah. Was it Amir? Who would it have been? Sully.
I mean, Jonas. I don't think Jonas is that guy this year, but I think that same principle is just kind of applied in the playoffs because
how about Jalen?
Exploit other teams' weaknesses. So you put up lineups that are very switchy.
How about Jalen?
Too young, man.
He's got
too young.
Kelly ain't got
It's always like you look at like Jalen, you're like, oh, Jalen had a nice game, and it's like -6 or something like that.
Guys,
you just get that feeling with Jalen.
Kelly reminds me of Danny Ferry in Cleveland. Like, he reminds me of him so much because he has skill. He has the ability to shoot the lights out from time to time, but sometimes he's just too nice, and sometimes he just don't feel it. And that's Kelly. And right now we don't need a Kelly that don't feel it. And that's why I'm just not big on Kelly sticking around anymore.
Whose minutes do you want to allocate Kelly's?
Well, right now, I'm going to be real with it. Like, you got to roll with the guys you have.
There's no reason that the Bulls should be playing harder because the Celtics are one unit where the Bulls are a bunch of individual pieces.
What you're saying, I agree with what you're saying, okay? And I know they've had chemistry problems. What I'm saying is that effort they put out tonight, I expected that. It's game 1 of the playoffs, and they're not they're not pushovers, but they're unified right now. But if the Celtics execute like they're capable of, the Bulls can't hold a candle to them. Because they don't have, unit-wise, they don't have what the Celtics have. Offensively, they don't have what the Celtics have. But the Celtics didn't execute. They weren't effective offensively at all outside of Isaiah and Al Horford.
Yeah, I'm in agreement. I'll take those games for Al Horford and Isaiah Thomas every time. And you're right that the rest of the Celtics are going to have to show up and are going to have to make plays and have to make shots. Jay Crowder occasionally has his no-shows. Sunday night happened to be one of those. I fully expect him to bounce back. The team's healthy. It's time to show that they are as good as their record, or nearly so. Game 2, huge game, must win. If any game's a must win, this type of game is. And we'll see what this team's really made of on Tuesday. I'm really looking forward to it.
And I've been saying that Jay Crowder is good. We don't need to get Gordon Hayward. But if Jay Crowder can't do better than this, then I'm going to be pro Gordon Hayward. I will.
Well, we may have lost a listener in Jay Crowder when you said that. But another thing Celtics fans need to remember is the game was on TNT tonight. The game will not be on TNT on Tuesday. I think ABC. So, I mean, it's a crazy streak that the Bulls have been able to put together. There's something behind it. We all know Rondo loves his national TV games.
Is there something behind it?
I mean, Rondo always got up for his national TV games. Dwayne Wade's.
But confining it to a network, saying that they only play well when a certain network is airing their games, that veers a little bit into like conspiracy theory territory. I'm starting to believe in playoff Lowry, though.
Thank you.
Look, I thought it's just like a small sample, and Kyle Lowry's not a guy who's like easily shook or anything. But yeah, look, it's like been like 30-something games with the Raptors where he's got like an effective field goal percentage of like 44%. And one more game from Lowry, and I'll start to believe that this is a real thing and not just noise.
I'm trying to think of what character from The Wire Bobby Portis looks like. Is it Marlo?
Is that
that just came to my head? Yeah. I don't know why. It's not really important, but.
All right. On that note, we'll end things here. Yeah, subscribe to the Boston Celtics news feed, rate and review. Really appreciate that. So stay tuned. We got you covered for the rest of the playoffs. And so for Zaire, my brother Jonathan, I'm Jon Ignal. We'll see you on Wednesday.